I want to talk about censorship, something that's really happening quite heavily on the platforms that, sorry, I didn't mean to make that kind of so funny, but anyway, the platforms that we use, like TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, any of those that are being used. And I'm going to tell you an interesting story. I got kind of mad at Facebook and YouTube and TikTok, well, maybe a month or so ago. You might recall that I had said I'm being shadow banned, which is continuing actually to some degree. It's quite a bit less now. For a while, they were just looking at all of my videos before they would post them, which is fine. I don't mind, I want to keep my videos appropriate. I'm not into fear-mongering. I'm not into gross emotional game playing. I don't think it's helpful at this time. So I got a notice yesterday, I think it was, that my Facebook shop on my page on Twiggy by Design has been shut down for what they said multiple violations. Now, I've not had any violations on Twiggy by Design, but they claim that they've had multiple complaints and multiple violations from this shop. I've made no money from whatsoever. I've not really pandered to that whole process at all. So I haven't made any money, but I got informed, I think it was an overnight last night, that my account has been banned and I'm no longer qualified to have a shop on Facebook. And I think this is a sign of things to come. The more your message is spot on, the more you can expect that it might not be heard. I listened to a podcast this morning that I found interesting and along these lines. And I've always kind of wondered, why did Plato, was he able to go and look at books that were from some library that we all weren't entitled to see in some way? And he was able to get a hold of information that made to us, it seemed like he was brilliant, right? Somebody that really stood out because he told us this story. Well, I think right now what we might be witnessing is scrubbing of the stories, keeping the stories in such a way that it serves the need of those who are minding us to keep charge of the masses, which is really interesting when you think about that we needed to be kept charge of it all. So I think things like, I loved when I was younger, Dan Brown came out with books, The Da Vinci Code. There were some other ones he came out with that I was into for a while. And actually, I have to admit, I felt guilty even pondering the question that he might have been putting subliminal or otherworldly messages in his paintings. And now that I'm witnessing really the breakdown of society in some ways, and then in addition to the breakdown of society, the way information is being given and received as a form of misleading pieces of information. And what this video was, it was on TikTok. And I hadn't seen this person before. I don't know who it is, so I'm not even going to bother with that. But I'm sure there's other people out there saying things. But a police officer went into a library and was removing books for review as to their ability to remain in the library. Now, when you have to control the masses and the written words of books, what's happening here? What's the goal? Really, where are we going with this? So this is, to me, very troubling. I realize that there's a lot of rumors, there's a lot of fear-mongering. I had a conversation with my daughter-in-law about the way racial issues are taught in college and them being not even relevant to what gets taught in school, but critical race theory. And we were talking about the fact that this isn't even a relevant issue. And why is this something we're talking about in the grade schools? It's not happening. It's not happening in any kind of school level. This is an upper educational class. You have to be graduate of a bachelor's and accepted to what would be a master's or a doctor of jurisprudence, if you will, for a lawyer's degree. And it's taught as a law degree. It's not taught in high school. It's not taught in grade school. And I'm not sure what all this paranoia is about. What is the paranoia that not everyone, of course, but in some fundamentalist Christian way, they want to put out the fires by suppressing the information. So it's very troubling, the times we're in and how this is unfolding. And I'm certain it doesn't matter if you're political, it doesn't matter whether you're Democrat or Republican. It's going to be the same for all of us. It's going to be painful. They're trying to shut us up. And just don't forget that. So with that, please do hit the like, share, and subscribe. And if you know of a story, please do leave it here and let's have a dialogue about it. We don't grow unless we comment. We take the time to say, hey, that's yes, I agree or I disagree. Make it a part of your day to stop and say hi. And with that, thank you very much for joining me.